Hello, my loves, and welcome back to BehatiLife YouTube channel. If you're meeting for the first time, welcome. And for those of you that are old friends and family, welcome back. As you guys can see, we have someone with us. Let's see if we can spin it around. She's smiling. She's smiling. Well, she was. Anytime when she hears me talk about astrology and tarot, she starts to smile. Yeah. Do you want to say hi to our friends? Say hi. She's busy. She's busy. Well, what I wanted to do was come on here and talk to you guys. Oh my God, big burps. What I wanted to do was come on here and talk to you guys about the week ahead and see just how far we can go, because there's a lot of information, a lot of changes in the astrological skies that we need to talk about now and those to come. So I didn't want to wait any longer, and I didn't want to put her down. So we are having the best of both worlds for now, as long as we can, okay? Because she's definitely the boss here. She makes all the rules. So go ahead, grab some coffee, grab some tea, grab some water, get cozy, and let's go ahead and dive right in. Well, you guys, so much for that, right? Our little one, our new bestie, she took it quite literally. When I said, let's get cozy and let's dive right in, she got cozy in my arms and she dove right into her sleep, which I'm not going to lie to you, I did see it coming. She just got a little bottle. So after that, she kind of gets a little snuggled. So unfortunately, I won't be able to share with you her coos and her babbles that she's been doing lately. That's just been so cute. But at least we have our time and we can hang out with her while she rests in my lap, in my arms, which I just love anyway. So how are you guys doing? Welcome to 2025. As you guys know, we talked about this in the last video and some of my shorts that I posted on YouTube and on TikTok about the year starting off with a bang, quite literally, right? We're not joking around about it. When I say bang, I mean it quite literal. The transit that has been creating those series of explosions, like energetic explosions, is Mars, which connects us to masculine energy, fight and drive and force and will, is directly opposing, meaning directly opposite Pluto. Pluto connects us to control, power, manipulation, shadow aspects, secrets. When these two planets are directly opposing each other, they, especially when we have Pluto in the mix, what we have is a big old pimple that is pushing up this need to fight or this need to force things into action. And what I was saying in the last video, either in the short or in the weekly forecast, is that these energies are showing belief systems and philosophies that make someone act out of their, that make them act from their will, make them act from their philosophy, right? I hope that makes sense. There was a word that you guys shared in last week's video that nailed it, just completely. I almost want to say dogmatic thinking, where your beliefs are so strict and so conservative in this way that the action that you take is so, it makes you a martyr. It makes you almost sacrifice yourself for this greater philosophy or this greater way of thinking. That could be a positive thing when it doesn't hurt others, or when your belief benefits others. It's helpful to other people. It's not destructive. It's terrible when it hurts other people, when it's taking people out, if you know what I mean. And that's that transit that we're still feeling and going to be under the influence of as we start this week. So I always, when I see transits like this, I say that we're still in red zone area, where you will still start to see and still continue to see these energies unfolding in the news, in your private life, in the world around you. So keep your eyes open for that. How this will impact you in your intimate life and not so much public, meaning, or the global, with war and fighting and BOMBS. I can't say it here on YouTube. You're going to feel, for many of you guys, there's a sense of agitation. There's a sense of being forced or expelled out of a situation that clearly does not serve you anymore. What's beautiful, what's wonderful is on January 13th, 5:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do have the full moon happening in the sign of Cancer. And this is going to create, if you're being expelled out of a situation, this is going to create the space that you can find refuge in, where you can rest, where you can relax, lay your head down, and begin to manifest that space, that place. For some of you guys, it will actually look like a home environment, spending time with your family, or community that feels like family, right? Which is beautiful. For others of you guys, it could be like yoga. When I was shuffling for BehatiLife Notes, which is my monthly subscription that I offer for the globe, to join my little community, and I shuffle and pull for our small collective energy there. Yoga was the word that was coming through because it reminds me of these little ashrams and these little studios that so many of us run to. We find refuge within them, and peace and quiet and community and connection. So I was seeing that as a message to share with you guys, that this place of refuge trickled in by Cancer energy here, is making itself known for so many of us this week. If you are not if it's not something that's making itself known to you, I really recommend that you sit with yourself in your own sacred space, in your own quiet time, and ask yourself, could I benefit more from a quiet space, home, like the hearth, a place that is all my own, especially now that Mars is retracing its steps, going back into the sign of Cancer. Mars is currently retrograde. When this energy, Mars, masculine energy, is retrograde, that energy is going within. It's not external, it's not forcing, it's not fighting, it's not chasing, it's not pursuing. It's trying to lay low and I don't say nurture itself, but pursue inner projects, like comfort, especially comfort as it's transiting through the sign of Cancer. Now, Cancer is a cardinal sign. It's a cardinal sign that is ruled by water, right? The element water. So how it expresses itself is it's very active, it's dominant, it's a leader, and it pulls from its emotions. So for so many of you guys, this is going to be the week of finding the home, the sanctuary, refuge, rest, going into that, nestling into it, taking care of it, fostering it, or setting intention for that. And then towards the end of the week, January 13th, or the start of next week, when the full moon reveals itself in the beautiful sign of Cancer. I love Cancer so much, the zodiac sign. That's you have an opportunity to manifest, again, that safe, warm place for you that is safe and all of your own. So that's something else to look at. Another thing that I want you guys to be aware of this week is the fact that Mercury, the planet of communication and how we process and analyze information, transiting through Sagittarius, is going to be squaring off with Neptune. Neptune is currently transiting through Pisces. It's teaching us double, right? It's doubly teaching us how to listen to our intuition, how to honor our discernment, how to make listening to your intuition, listening to your vibes, and incorporating discernment and your spiritual practice into your day-to-day routine. Make that your foundation. That's going to help you guys a lot. I'm not going to go too far into that because I've been saying it a lot, almost like a broken record. But when Mercury's squaring off with Neptune here, we have to be really careful with communication, what we're saying, and what we hear. Are we hearing what someone else is saying clearly, or are we hearing what we want? Are we projecting our reality onto the world? Is someone projecting their reality onto us? This is why boundaries are so important. And this is why, again, for many of you guys, sensitives, intuitives, gifted, you are finding yourself pulling away from the collective, from the world, the globe, and going into little communities, little pods of like-minded people, like-minded energy, in places where it feels safe for you. For a lot of you guys, this is actually on the internet, right? These these internet communities. For others, it's these spiritual little pockets, these places where you are practicing your spirituality consistently. Like that's a part of your routine in these little pods or classes of some sort. And I highly encourage that. If you can afford it, if you can do it, then go for it. Also, using YouTube or using the internet and the resources that we have to create those spaces within your own home environment. You don't necessarily need to go to yoga or go to a meditation class, which, by the way, there's so many free meditation classes like that you can find locally, and interesting people that go to those classes that you can connect with and build your tribe with and your vibe if you feel called to do so. But having said that, you could also use meditation classes on YouTube. Just search meditation, like 20-minute meditation, and make that a part of your daily routine, and you'll see the benefit of it. Absolutely. So those are things to look out for, and those are ways that this energy can manifest. I do want to say again, just be really careful of other people projecting their reality and what they think is true and what they want onto you. Try to be as clear as possible. Even though Mercury isn't retrograde, when Mercury and Neptune square off like this, it gives something similar, very similar to Mercury retrograde energy. However, it's not necessarily bringing back things of the past. It's more the miscommunication and confusion in our brains and our minds with, what did I just hear? Like, are we having a misunderstanding here? Because I'm not picking up what you're putting down, or someone else isn't able to understand what is that you're saying, like your point. Like, what's your point? Get to the point, So, let's see if there's something else that I needed to talk to you guys about. I'm looking at my notes here. Normally my notes would be off on the right side. I'm a bit particular, but because I've got our baby on my lap, my structure is a little different now. Mercury will be entering into the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn, I love Capricorn energy because, number one, with so much focus on Cancer, with Mars transiting back into the sign of Cancer, and with the full moon happening in the sign of Cancer, our home, our family, our sacred space, our heart space, the temple of our hearts, right? There's a need we're all going back to that. We're all finding our places and nestling into those cozy spots that I just said, right? There needs to be something protecting that. And Saturn, directly opposing Cancer, its goal is to protect, to shield those sacred spaces. So Mercury entering into the sign of Capricorn is going to be really strict and almost cold up front, sarcastic, but clear as day, trying to be as clear as day with what it wants and its expectations. For some of you guys, this isn't about communicating expectations or like talking with other people. This is you making some serious plans for your future and for your life that represent what you need to the core. We are definitely emphasizing cozy, calm culture moving forward. This is what the first full moon of 2025, and it's starting with Cancer, like a Cancer full moon. This is setting the trend. Even though full moons typically, for a lot of people, they represent endings and things coming to a head, culmination, and they're very emotionally charged. For me, a full moon has always been a time that I set intention. I work my magic, right? And this is the first full moon of the year. Starting in Cancer, I love this because it's really prioritizing the hearth, the warmth of a place that is truly our own, where we're just can totally let our guard down and feel safe and secure. And with times like this, that's exactly what it is that we need. So as Mercury moves into Capricorn, our minds, our thoughts, our words, the places, the things that we're talking about are about security, securing those safe places, securing the home front. it doesn't need to be a fight. It literally doesn't need to be a fight, because sometimes when I say things like secure and boundaries, sometimes people will immediately think like, okay, I'm gonna have to fight and force and push. Remember that Mars, ruling those energies of fighting and pushing back, is currently retrograde in the sign of Cancer that we're talking about right now. So no, you don't need to fight, you don't need to force things. It's something that you can build, that you can secure for yourself, and that you can work to protect and set intentions to protect it, to shield it and guard it, and have healthy boundaries to make sure that no one is crossing over and stepping. What I like to say is walking in your house with their shoes on. I can't stand that. I do not. If you come in my home, you gotta take your shoes off. So these are some energies that we are protecting and guarding. Here is the home. Having said that, my loves, I'm wondering too if there is anything, and I don't want to plant the seed here, I just want to see if you notice this, if you are someone who's going to be sensitive to this, especially if you're Capricorn right now. Capricorns are going through it. Earth signs in general are kind of going through it, earth and water, if you ask me. But yeah, I'm wondering if you guys are experiencing a little triggerization with the sun squaring off with Chiron. Yeah, I wanted to double check that. With the sun squaring off with Chiron. Chiron rules that wounded aspect within ourselves, the wound that oftentimes comes with us in this life, or it's given to us out of events that are completely outside of our control. Chiron was retrograde, but now direct. So in the sign of Aries, ruling that masculine aspect, the leadership, connecting us to our ability to be courageous and bold, and to believe in ourselves, be confident. I'm wondering if asserting these boundaries, if putting your foot down, if making a firm plan for the future could be trampling on some childhood wounds or internal conflict that you may have within yourself. You know, for some of you guys, it could be asking for what is that you deserve, not settling for less, like really saying like, this is my rate, this is what I charge, don't negotiate with me because this is what I deserve. For others, it could be, did you feel protected in your development in childhood? Are there things that have happened that resurface when you say, this is what I need to feel safe and secure in the present now? So keep an eye out for that, because when the sun, representing our ego, and how we identify, and also collective consciousness, is squaring off with Chiron, transiting through Aries, which wants us to be brave and wants us to be bold, that can be really a difficult transit. It can be really triggery, and it can be hard to let your guard down. It can be hard to soften. For someone here, when you are asked to soften, especially as you're near the Cancer full moon, you may feel defensive, you may feel on guard, you may feel like, what happens when you start to feel vulnerable? What happens when you get defensive? Where do you go? How do you protect yourself? Because also Cancer rules how we protect ourselves, that soft aspect within. How do you protect yourself? What do you normally do? For me, I get the heck out of town. Like I don't want to say bury my head in the sand, but I'll disappear. Part of that is because I always want to give the best to myself, but if I can't do that yet, I'll need to gather myself and then come in the best version of myself. And that sounds weird. Like, I try to show up as the best version of myself all the time, always give 110%. And if I can't always do that, my intention is to fulfill that. I will fulfill it, but ultimately I have to take a step back and protect that sensitive, what's going on within me, right? What's going on within the heart space. And then return back. When it comes to relationships and stuff like that, I definitely retreat. I retreat or I attack. So ask my family. They'll be able to tell you. that there's parts that you just can't tread on, don't tread on Jess, is what is what I've heard. And I do believe that that's a part of me. So anyway, the moral of the story is, what do you do? That's the question, right? What do you do when you get tread on, when someone crosses your boundaries? There's a point where, for many of you guys, the growth, the communication can happen. But what happens when that's not respected? What happens when that gets disrespected? What or who do you turn into? How do you protect yourself in that space? Is there a threat to you right now? Something that you feel like Spirit is asking you to protect? And do you feel comfortable enough doing what you're called to do to protect and defend what's rightfully yours, or your sanctuary, or your home front, or your family? So, yeah. I do want to do a whole reading for the full moon. Again, this is going to be January 13th, 5:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the sign of Cancer. I want to do a whole reading on the full moon because Cancer is one of my favorite zodiac signs, sun signs. Well, one of my favorite astrological signs, period. Partly because my ascendant is in Cancer, and it just rules the remainder of my chart. So I'm definitely wanting to shuffle and pull on that. So if you guys would like to see the reading for that with the tarot, which I thought I was going to do today, but my hands are going to be full with the little one, then definitely make sure that you're subscribed, turn on your notifications. I've seen that many of you guys were in the comments saying that YouTube kicked you off, that you were unsubscribed from the channel. I'm not surprised to hear that because I've been hearing that on many people's channels right now. So make sure that you unfollow, then follow, that you're following on YouTube, and that you have your notifications turned on to keep you up to date on all of the astrological videos that I'm posting. And one last thing that I want to talk to you guys about before we say goodbye: the Sun trine Uranus retrograde right now. Uranus is transiting through Taurus. The Sun is currently transiting through Capricorn. This can bring the element of surprise. And for those of you guys that are concerned with money and business, I really, really love this for you, because this could bring surprises, developments on the work front, your workload, especially now that Mercury is entering into the sign of Capricorn and Mercury is squaring off with Neptune. Now, I did talk about the more difficult aspects that transit can bring. And with this, I want to end on the positive aspects that it can bring, which is very creative, divinely inspired ideas for business, or something that you do to make money, or that you like your work and your career, in some aspect. For some of you guys, you are locking in a excellent contract or commitment or promise to work with something or someone that brings longevity. Others, I'm seeing a space of seriousness with your career and the gifts that you're offering the world. Especially Capricorn always connects us with our career and how, the people that we end up serving in a larger way, like our reputation. So there's something here that seems to be a gift, and I don't want to say that it comes out of the blue, because you may have worked on it, but it could be word of mouth. It could be an email that pops up that you're kind of sitting on, thinking about how you're going to address it if you want to, take on this project. For some of you, if you're influencers, it could be like a sponsorship. It could be launching a podcast. There's something here that isn't so, it could be out of the blue, but I think for the majority of you guys, it's something that you're setting intention on, and you take it seriously, you commit to it, and you're now moving forward. So the ideas are flowing, your communication is flowing, there's movement there. So one of the cards that I pulled, my light just went out. One of the cards that I pulled out as I was getting ready for you guys and getting little one all cozied up, was the Eight of Wands card, also the King of Cups reversed. Now, I was going to take those tarot cards and branch off of them for Behati Love Notes. But I'm going to share them with you guys right now because I think there's a reason why it came up for the collective before I even shuffled for Behati Love Notes. But if you want those full readings, definitely sign up for Behati Love Notes. This subscription is down below. It's similar to like Patreon, only it's BehatiLife version of Patreon. But I feel like with Eight of Wands showing up, the Eight of Wands card connects us to communication and things moving really fast paced. I feel like there's going to be some type of interesting text message information that you deliver or that you are receiving this week. With the King of Cups, I also want to tell you guys to prioritize your heart space, prioritize your home space, listen to your feelings, honor your feelings. Do not try to chase after things that do not actively choose you to. I know that sounds so obvious, but that message has been coming up like a broken record on repeat, right? So if that keeps showing up, let's go ahead and remind ourselves of it again and let's honor it. I also want you guys to be really careful of people who emotionally may be a little off balance right now. There's a lot of things that are going on in the world. Everyone's circumstances are different or unique. So it's hard to see and gauge where people are coming from. Listen to your intuition. Just be careful with people out in the world, because I just think that with the King of Cups reverse showing up, that it's a nod to energy that might feel like just emotionally draining or manipulative or problematic, to say the least. Make sure that you are not diving too much aggressively into any vices, especially alcohol or overeating, food, drink, those types of things. That definitely was coming up intuitively as I was looking at the cards. And for many of you guys, just try to slow down. Try to slow down, ask questions. For someone here, in order to maintain peace, it's almost like you're avoiding conflict. When there's a message here that I was picking up on where avoiding conflict is not what Spirit wants you to do, you actually have to not start a fight, but speak up. And for someone here, you're feeling like speaking up is creating drama and creating a problem, when in truth, you're not the problem. When you speak up for yourself and you set a boundary and someone makes that a problem, they're the problem, right? Because you're saying what's healthy for you, what you need, what you're comfortable with. They're not accepting it. They're turning it around and making it so that what your needs are an issue. And I just want to remind you that this world is yours, right? The world is your oyster. We're all just living in your world, right? So if in your world something is making you uncomfortable and overstepping or disrespecting you, it's got to go. Or we need to enforce that a little more. We need to incorporate something into our lives that helps us to protect ourselves, especially when we're uncomfortable, when we're triggered, and when we want to fight back or run. Why we're seeing that is because, again, Chiron is transiting through Aries, and Chiron either has the fight or the flight response being activated here. But we really want to start honoring that. You're not being a problem. You're not a problem when you ask for what is that you need. And anybody who's pushing their will and what they want for you and is totally ignoring what you've been saying, you have to understand that they're the problem here. So you avoiding conflict, when you're hearing these transits, like, try not to avoid conflict. Try to take care of what Spirit is asking you to take care of, because there's something here that needs to be addressed, pulled up out of the root, or have some space and some distance. So with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you to my little one for being so cozy and spending time with us as well. I really thought that she would be smiling with you guys and cooing and babbling like she's been doing lately. But clearly she wants to be tucked in, which I'm okay with that. She was looking at the crystals and the fire behind me, so it was really cool to share that with her. It's always really cool to have her with me while mommy's working. So that way she could see what it is that I'm doing. And you better believe that I'll be passing on my wisdom to her. Hopefully she's going to be open to it. Watch, she's like, into just horseback riding or something and just doesn't care for astrology, which I respect that, but still, it would be really fun to be able to pass on my knowledge, wisdom, magic, intention setting, all of that. Everything that I've learned, pass it on to her so that she can, you know, do what I've been doing this entire time and benefiting from it. But we'll see how it goes. Whatever path she chooses is all right with me. Having said that, I am sending you guys so much love on the path that you choose, on the journey that you are on right now. I am setting intention for your protection, for your empowerment, for your courage, for your voice, for your conviction, and for your blessing. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Make sure that you're subscribed to this YouTube channel because there's plenty more videos where this came from. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.